The 1996 Royal Rumble took place on January 21st in Fresno, California. Around 9,500 fans attended the event, while 250,000 domestic pay-per-view buys were estimated. Not terrible by mid-90s standards. Along with the annual Royal Rumble match, the show also features a Bret Hart vs Undertaker WWF Championship bout, and Razor Ramon defends his Intercontinental Championship against Goldust. The main story of the Royal Rumble centers around Shawn Michaels. HBK suffered a concussion on Raw, and he stopped making in-ring appearances in the run-up to the pay-per-view. HBK's the hot favourite to win the Royal Rumble match, and the outcome of the Rumble did feel a little predictable, but there's still fun to be had while watching this pay-per-view, so let's get started and let's go back and take a look. Our opening match is a grudge match, Jeff Jarrett vs Ahmed Johnson. At In Your House 5, Jeff Jarrett returned to the World Wrestling Federation and he smashed a framed gold disc over Ahmed's head. And that's all we've got here. Jarrett would leave again soon after this match due to a contract dispute. Double J thought he could just hip toss Ahmed Johnson and Ahmed would take it, but it's Jarrett who goes flying across the ring, and Johnson then just dumps Double J on the mat afterwards. He also thought he could punch Ahmed in the face a few times, but he pays for that misjudgment with a hard clothesline, and Ahmed then performs a fallen power slam. Jeff kicks out of the follow-up cover. Things get worse for Jarrett when he takes a jumping clothesline, and for whatever reason Ahmed thinks he's a little pussycat afterwards. He goes flying over the top rope after a failed running attack, and he gets his hand stuck between the top and middle ropes. Intentional, maybe, but I like to believe it wasn't. Double J takes control with a jumping clothesline from the apron, and Ahmed gets thrown into the ring steps. A jumping body guillotine, or the jumping teabag, stuns Ahmed at the ropes, and Jarrett gives fans what they paid to see, the Jackie Fargo strut. Ahmed then starts hulking up as Jarrett lays in the offense. What would we call this? Ahmeding up? Johnsoning up? Jarrett gets caught in mid-air and he takes an inverted atomic drop followed by another clothesline, and Ahmed then acts weird. Please stop doing that. Ahmed performs a spine buster, and Mr. Perfect says Ahmed's lucky he landed on his head after this dive to the outside. It's wild. Ahmed then breaks his ass in half with this top rope move, and this gives Jarrett a chance to lock in the figure 4. Ahmed manages to reverse the pressure. Jarrett goes for it again, but he gets kicked out of the ring, and this gives Double J the perfect opportunity to grab his guitar. Jarrett climbs upstairs, he breaks the guitar over Ahmed's head, and so Ahmed Johnson wins via disqualification. Not a great match, to be honest. Actually, it was pretty bad, but there's something oddly entertaining about watching early Ahmed Johnson matches. They're not good, but you just want to see what the mad bastard's gonna do next, or at least try to do next. Big Daddy Cool Diesel gets interviewed backstage. He's competing in the Royal Rumble match, but he wanted a title shot at this event. He hopes Bret and Taker have a good match, but neither of them match up to Big D. In regards to the Rumble and the debut of Vader, Diesel doesn't think it's Vader time, it's Diesel time. Vader's unproven in these WWF waters, so Big Daddy Cool isn't sweating the newcomer. And as for Shawn Michaels, Diesel knows HBK's a threat, seeing as he won last year's Rumble from the number 1 spot. We go back to the arena, and we've got some hot, exciting tag team action next, with the Smoking Guns defending their tag team titles against the Bodydonnas. Sonny says she's got Zip, she's got Skip, and in a few moments she'll have the tag team championship. Unfortunately for Sonny, it didn't quite work out that way because Billy and Bart were on form at the 1996 Royal Rumble. Skip takes a big back body drop, but Billy falls out of the ring afterwards. The Bodydonnas then work together to bring Billy back inside the ropes, but then Big Boy Bart shows his strength by sending both Bodydonnas to the outside. Billy Gunn performs a dive over the top rope onto Zip and Skip finds himself in the wrong corner when the match gets back inside the ropes. Sonny shows off some skin to distract the Guns. It gets Bart all fired up and he's able to press slam Zip, so Sonny's plan backfired. Skip comes back in and the Smoking Guns perform a heart attack. Sonny again tries to cause a distraction, but she ends up falling off the apron thanks to clumsy old Billy Gunn, and Billy feels a little bad about what he just did. So he goes out to check on Sonny, and of course, Zip and Skip launch an attack. See, not just a pretty face. The Bodydonnas keep Billy in their corner, and we're gonna slowly build to a hot tag. We We see double team moves as Zip and Skip keep Billy away from Bart. Sonny cheers on as her boys have seemingly got this one in the bag, but then Billy just passes by both Zip and Skip to make the hot tag, and Bart comes in all fired up. Zip saves himself from getting hurt, so he backdrops Skip. Never seen that before. The Guns pull off their sidewinder finisher, but Sonny distracts the referee and Skip breaks the cover. The Bodydonnas try the old switcheroo, but it doesn't work. Bart kicks out, and Bart ends up pinning Skip when Billy spears Zip. The Smoking Guns are still the tag team champions at Royal Rumble 1996. Nothing wrong with this tag match, but it's not very exciting either. Our first two matches are definitely not must-see encounters. Razor Ramon vs Goldust is up next for the IC title, and in a nutshell, Goldust has the hots for the bad guy, while Razor wants Goldust to back off and stop messing him around. Razor said he didn't have any issues with Goldust's preferences, but Razor didn't play like that and Goldust should stop being a creep. Goldust wouldn't stop. He sent letters to Razor, he sent presents, he even got a little temporary tattoo for Razor. So the only way to stop someone who's obsessed over you is to beat them up inside a wrestling ring while putting your Intercontinental title on the line. This is a storyline that Scott Hall wasn't overly enamored with, and the story was supposed to culminate in a WrestleMania match, but that didn't happen unfortunately. The 1996 Royal Rumble also features the debut of Marlena as she brings Goldust to the ring. The two competitors are ready to go. The bell rings, Goldust tries to provoke a reaction, Razor throws the toothpick, but this doesn't bring about the normal reaction that Razor was expecting. Instead, Goldust continues to provoke Ramon, and Mr. Perfect says on commentary that this is making the bad guy feel uncomfortable. Razor finally grabs the wrist and Goldust gets slammed hard to the mat over and over again. Ramon then locks in an armbar and he slaps Goldust around a bit, and Goldust looks for Marlena for some comfort after escaping a headlock. Goldust then gets a good old feel around Razor's chest after a standing switch, but funnily enough, Razor doesn't submit. Goldust goes back to Marlena as if to say, yeah, you like that, don't you? As Razor tries to get his head straight and get back into the match. It goes to the corner where Goldust's clean break is anything but clean, so Razor shoves Goldust to the canvas, and now the Bizarre One may think twice about being a big gold pervo. Ramon softens up the elbow and Goldust replies with a slap to the face. Looks like this is what Razor was looking for, a good old fashioned fight. Goldust gets taken down with a drop toe hold and the bad guy lays in more quick slaps, and when the two get back to their feet, Goldust gets smacked across the face and across the ass. Goldust actually enjoyed this, so Razor smacks him again across the face. Goldust hides behind Marlena on the outside, so Razor gets back inside the ropes. Goldust keeps catching Razor out with headlock takedowns, and Razor keeps getting out, so it's another punch to the face and another break on the outside. Marlena gets used as a shield again, and Razor gets back inside, so yeah, there's a lot of time wasting here. Goldust blows Razor a kiss, and the crowd aren't booing Goldust, they're booing the lack of action. Goldust again stalls after an Irish whip, and it goes back to the outside after a Razor Ramon clothesline. Razor has no time to mess around with Marlena, so he lifts her out of the way, and then Goldust throws him to the ring steps. Goldust gets a lot more physical on the outside, and the crowd are now into it a bit more. Goldust performs a double axe handle, and he whips Ramon from pillar to post. Goldust then performs a bulldog, but Ramon kicks out. Goldust performs a slingshot back suplex, and this doesn't put Razor away either. So Ramon gets brought over to Marlena, and Goldust's new volley blows Goldust in the bad guy's face. Marlena blows Goldust. Ramon's been temporarily blinded by glitter, and this allows Goldust to hit a swinging neckbreaker followed by a sleeper. It goes all the way to the mat, and when they both get back to their feet, Ramon hits a low blow. Desperate times call for a kick in the balls. The discus punch floors Goldust, and we see a chokeslam from Razor Ramon. This gets followed up with Razor's signature fallaway slam, and then Marlena gets in the ring as Razor performs a top rope back suplex. Marlena seems to twist her ankle, and the referee doesn't notice the 1-2-3 kid hitting the ring and performing a top rope spinning heel kick. Goldust covers Razor, and Goldust becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. It was a very character-driven match, with over half the bout being focused on Goldust's gimmick, which isn't a bad thing. I've said a few times that Goldust peaked as a character very early on, in my opinion, and it was these kind of matches that made him stand out. All in all though, the bout's kinda average, and both guys have had way better performances in the ring. It's time for the Royal Rumble match. Shawn's doctor, his doctor, takes a break from giving hepatitis A vaccines to say HBK will be 100% tonight in the Royal Rumble match. Owen Hart says he's gonna win the Rumble and he's gonna end Shawn's career tonight inside the squared circle. Jake Roberts says everyone's going to get a taste of him tonight in the Royal Rumble match. Ew. Jerry Lawler says it's called the Royal Rumble because it's going to get won by royalty. And Barry Horowitz knows he's the underdog, but anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Yeah, Barry, keep telling yourself that. Jim Cornette says this is the kind of thing you wait a lifetime for, the chance to guide the career of the most powerful force in the World Wrestling Federation. The Mastodon's going to get released into the Royal Rumble, and Vader says it's Vader time as he wrecks a locker. Your singlet's on backwards there, big man. HBK thinks his odds are great for winning the Royal Rumble, seeing as he done it last year, although this time things are different. Shawn's got his fans, now known as the Clique, in his corner, and it'll be those fans who turned the boyhood dream into a reality. At WrestleMania XII, we'll be looking at a new World Wrestling Federation champion. Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect talk about how a Royal Rumble match works. I'm sure you don't need to hear this. So let's get started as we take a look at yet another Royal Rumble match. Out first is Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Helmsley lost a free-for-all match via disqualification against Duke the Dumpster Droese, so Hunter's number 1 and the Garbage Man enters at number 30. The number 2 entrant is Henry Godwinn. He and Hunter had that hog pen match at In Your House 5 a month prior, so we're starting off with a heated rivalry tonight, folks. The two throw punches for a bit, but it's Hunter who hits the mat first after a clothesline. Henry performs a back body drop, Hunter takes the flip corner bump. Henry tries to eliminate Hunter with a press slam, but Hunter gets down and the hog farmer gets choked on the middle rope. The countdown appears in the corner of our screen, and the third entrant is none other than Mr. Bob Backlund. Backlund has a date with Destiny at WrestleMania 12. All he has to do is win the Royal Rumble. He goes right after Henry Godwinn, and Hunter thinks he has a friend in this thing. Backlund understands it's every man for himself though, and he has no issues going after Helmsley. There's no eliminations here, so the fourth entrant in the 1996 Royal Rumble is Jerry the King Lawler, royalty in the Royal Rumble. The King gets in the ring and he looks for the slot bucket. Helmsley and Backlund hold Henry in place as the King goes to throw that bucket of shit all over the hog farmer, but the plan backfires. The heels escape the ring when Henry takes the bucket, and it's Jerry Lawler who gets the worst of it. Fun and frolics at the 1996 Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. There's something for everyone. Speaking of fun, here comes Bob, Sparky, Plug, Thurman, Holly. Start your engines. No eliminations here. Hunter almost throws Henry over the top rope, but Henry stays in, thank God. Here comes King Mabel, hoping to reignite that main event push with a victory in the Royal Rumble match. He's gonna be a tough one to throw out for sure. Jerry the King Lawler and King Mabel in the ring together, and neither of them get any eliminations. Mabel focuses on Henry Godwinn. We've got Sparky Plug and Triple H doing some work together. Still, nothing happens of note inside the ring. Entrant number 7 is Jake the Snake Roberts, and he said everyone's going to get a taste of him in the Royal Rumble. He doesn't waste any time at all in pulling out his big snake, and Jerry Lawler's first to get a taste. The King freaks out and he crawls out of the ring. Everyone gets back in after Jake puts his snake away, and entrant number 8 is Dory Funk Jr. Mr. Perfect admires Dory's ring jacket as most of the young fans in the audience wonder who Dory Funk Jr. is. Vince says that Terry Funk was also invited to the Royal Rumble, but he's currently in Germany as Hunter dodges a DDT attempt from Jake Roberts. Jerry Lawler's decided to hide under the ring and he's gonna wait for the right time to re-emerge. Smart thinking by the King. Oh shit, here comes Yokozuna. Big Yoko gets in the ring and he gives us our first elimination. Bob Backlund, hot favourite to win the Royal Rumble, won't be headlining WrestleMania this year. Yokozuna goes after Mabel, but Mabel turns it around and Yoko takes a corner splash. Poor Henry O was back there too. Yoko and Mabel then try to eliminate each other, neither successful, so Triple H tries to show him how it's done, but of course he's unsuccessful too. Entrant number 10 is the 1-2-3 Kid, and he seems a little on edge after what he did in the IC title match, and so he should be, because here comes Razor Ramon. Razor chases Kid inside the ring, outside the ring, all around the ring. Razor's hell-bent on getting his hands on his former best friend, but the Kid's too fast, and Ramon's quest for revenge ends when the referees bring him back up the entranceway. Henry Godwinn got eliminated just as Kid and Razor hit the ring. Omari comes out next in his first and only WWF appearance. McMahon calls him the Wild Man from Japan, while the audience call him who? He's got the classic Orient Express music that every Japanese wrestler used in the World Wrestling Federation at one time or another, and I can't envision Omari headlining WrestleMania, but who knows, who knows. Triple H performs the Flair flop after getting kicked in the face by the 1-2-3 Kid. Omari gets cocky with a dropkick to Mabel, and he pays for it with a few chops at the ropes. Amazing and entertaining stuff here at the 1996 Royal Rumble. Best Rumble ever. In at number 12 we have the incomparable Savio Vega, and he's only got one thing on his mind: victory by any means necessary. If you want to show you're all business, you go after Mabel first in this Royal Rumble, and that's exactly what Savio Vega did. A spinning wheel kick puts the King of the Ring down to the mat, and this leads to Yokozuna eliminating Mabel. There's only room for one big boy in the Royal Rumble match. Jake Roberts holds on to the ropes and Omari gets eliminated. What have we got here then? 6 dudes in the ring and Jerry Lawler hanging out under the ring. Got it. Vader then makes his debut as the 13th entrant in the 1996 Royal Rumble. It was fascinating seeing Vader in a WWF ring at the time. He goes straight after Bob Holly because he doesn't like the look of his face, while Savio Vega eliminates Dory Funk Jr. Vader has the perfect opportunity to eliminate Savio, but for some reason or another he brings him back in the ring. Elimination may have been a better fate though, as Vader knocks Savio loopy in the corner. Doug Gilbert of the USWA comes out next, and if you're wondering why there's lots of randomers in this Rumble, it's simply because the World Wrestling Federation's talent roster was so thin at the time. No idea why they didn't just put Ramon, Goldust, Ahmed and Jarrett in there. Even Mr. Perfect wonders who this is running down to the ring. The crowd gets all excited when Jake goes to DDT Savio Vega, but then the cameras cut away during the move. Thanks for that. And you can clearly see Jake telling Vader to hit him just before the big man eliminates Jake from the Royal Rumble. A spectacular elimination it was too. Squad team member number 1 is our next entrant. We wouldn't see this boyo nor his tag team partner again until June of 97. He goes after Yokozuna and Vince says, "Oh, what beef in there?" Fucking Vince loves it. Vader throws Doug Gilbert out. Squad team member number 1 then gets eliminated by Vader, so it was nice knowing ya. Squad teamer 2 then comes out conveniently after squad teamer 1. The squatters decide to join forces and they're going to try to take out Vader. Vader's like, absolutely not, my friends, and the headhunters get their heads wrecked. Yokozuna lends a hand and both these guys get eliminated. And check this out, Bob Holly wants a piece of Vader and Vader's like, nah, not today, tough guy, and Holly gets totally ignored. Wonderful. Man, this Royal Rumble has been absolutely awful. But wait, it gets a million times better. The King of Hearts, Owen Hart, makes his way down to the ring, and now things are going to get serious. Owen goes after Kid and Holly, while Vader and Yokozuna pick on Savio Vega. The big lads squash Vega in the corner, Vader hits a Vader splash, and Yoko follows this up with a leg drop. Someone call a medic. Entrant number 8 is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. The crowd pops as HBK dances his way down to the ring. Savio Vega's the instant target here because why not? He's already dead. HBK then moves on to his click buddies while Vader eliminates Vega. It was a good run for sure. Shawn then goes to Owen Hart, but then Vader and Yoko start clobbering each other in the middle of the ring, and they take away Shawn's thunder big time. A headbutt sends Vader to the mat. He gets up and it's like Godzilla vs King Kong at the ropes. What devastating huge monster can stop this, and who has the strength and sheer brute force to take out these two beasts? Why, Shawn Michaels, of course. Yeah, Shawn eliminates both guys in one go. Unreal. It doesn't end there though. The 1-2-3 Kid gets thrown out of the ring by the Heartbreak Kid as the crowd continue to go nuts. So now we've got 4 men: Shawn Michaels, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Bob Holly and Owen Hart. Hakushi's our next entrant. A great time to enter this Royal Rumble for sure. But Vader and Yokozuna have started fighting on the outside, and Vader decides to get back in the ring. Vader destroys HBK and he sends him over the top rope. He then proceeds to throw everyone else out of the ring, but none of these eliminations are going to count. Officials and Gorilla Monsoon are in the ring and Vader has to head back. Monsoon and Vader have some words, and yeah, I thought this part was good. If Vader wasn't going to win the Royal Rumble, then they sure did a good job of still making him look like a monster. Tatanka returns after being off TV for a few months, and he's the 20th entrant in the 1996 Royal Rumble. Inside the ring, Cornette has some issues getting over the top rope, but he gets there eventually. Hakushi gets a chance to perform a handspring back elbow before the ring starts filling up again, and Bob Holly tries to ruin the boyhood dream by eliminating Shawn Michaels. Triple H has a crack too, but no luck. Shawn's still in this thing. Number 21 is Aldo Montoya, and here's a man who definitely has a chance at winning the Royal Rumble. He gets in there all fired up, but it's Tatanka who takes out the Portuguese man of war. HBK then has a look under the ring and he finds Jerry Lawler. The King gets brought back in, he gets eliminated, as does Aldo Montoya. So yeah, better luck in the 1997 Royal Rumble, King. Big Daddy Cool Diesel's out next. Diesel feels like he shouldn't have to compete in this match and he should already be the number one contender, so let's see how he did. He immediately eliminates Tatanka before going on to attack Owen Hart. He and Shawn bump into each other and Diesel has no issues taking his best friend out. Shawn's quick to retaliate though. Kama of the $1 Million Corporation's the next entrant. We have 6 guys in the ring and we have no eliminations between Kama and the 24th entrant. It's the Ringmaster. Steve Austin makes his Royal Rumble debut and Bob Holly's the target. Austin lays it in, he gets stopped briefly by Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He's able to fight Kevin off though, and Bob Holly ends up getting eliminated by the Ringmaster. Owen Hart tries to eliminate Shawn Michaels as the clock ticks down to entrant number 25, Barry Horowitz. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, folks. Perfect says if this nerd headlines WrestleMania, then Mr. Perfect will get back in the ring himself. Barry gets messed up by Diesel, so he tries to attack Shawn Michaels while he's down. Big Diesel then eliminates Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then Fatu makes his way to the ring. We have now got 4 entrants left before we find out who main events WrestleMania 12. I can't pick a winner at all, guys. Anyone could win this thing. Owen Hart tries to suplex HBK out of the ring, but Michaels holds on, and again we have no eliminations here. Isaac Yankem DDS comes out, and who would have guessed this guy would set Royal Rumble records in the future? He gets no reaction at all here, but as the Kane character, he would become a legend of Royal Rumble matches without ever actually winning one. Owen Hart eliminates Barry Horowitz, so there goes that for him. Owen then hits Shawn with the same enziguri that gave him a concussion. He then tries to eliminate Shawn, but Diesel's there to help Shawn out and Owen gets eliminated. The Ringmaster hits Michaels with a jumping clothesline and he mocks the Heartbreak Kid afterwards. Again, Big Diesel's there to back up his friend and Austin backs off from Big Daddy Cool. Marty Jannetty's in the building tonight and he's our 28th entrant. He tries to headbutt Fatu, but all this does is hurt Party Marty. We then get Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty fighting it out in the middle of the ring. Marty Jannetty had a boyhood dream too, you know, but neither man gets the upper hand. They both end up hitting the mat. The British Bulldog's entrant number 29 and Davey's gonna win this thing.
Whether he wants to or not.
Diana's in the audience to see her husband perform and she gets treated to Davey eliminating Marty Jannetty. Here's that infamous bit where Steve Austin gets eliminated when he wasn't supposed to get eliminated. He was supposed to stay in way later and his elimination would somehow involve Shawn Michaels. So the Ringmaster tells HBK he messed up and the boys in the ring have to think on their feet. You can see Shawn instantly communicating with everyone else after Austin sends him a message from the outside. Fatu got eliminated here too by Isaac Yankem. Duke the Dumpster Drosey's our final entrant then. HBK and Davey fight on the outside, but Owen Hart returns and Shawn gets attacked by the King of Hearts. Diesel once again saves HBK's ass in the middle of the ring and Michaels is able to get up and eliminate Isaac Yankem. Kama and Diesel then team up to eliminate Duke Drosey. HBK's on the apron and he nearly gets eliminated, but he slides back in and he throws Davey Boy Smith over the top rope. And at that point, Kama hits Shawn from behind. HBK holds on and he skins the cat as Diesel eliminates Kama. Shawn hits Diesel with sweet chin music and Shawn Michaels wins the 1996 Royal Rumble match, much to the fans' delight inside the arena. Big Diesel ignores Doc Hendricks and he attacks the Bulldog on the entranceway. Big Daddy Cool heads back to the ring and it looks like he wants a piece of Shawn Michaels as he tightens up his glove. But Big D holds his hands up and the two dudes with attitudes aren't going to fight tonight. Not a great Royal Rumble to be honest, certainly not a star-studded Rumble match and the lineup wasn't the best at all. But HBK fans in 1996 would have been happy, I'm sure. Bret Hart versus The Undertaker's up next. No personal beef, no issues, Taker's the number one contender and Bret's a fighting champion. So fans are getting treated to a babyface versus babyface encounter that'll test both superstars' abilities, plus it'll test both superstars' popularity. Diesel's waiting for The Undertaker at the entranceway. Taker's had more issues with Diesel recently than Bret Hart, seeing as Diesel's a little pissed off about not being the number one contender tonight. So these two have a brief meeting here and officials have to stop both men from tearing each other apart. His Excellency then makes his way down to the ring and Bret gets a great ovation, as did The Undertaker. But we'll see if the crowd sways during the match itself. Usually in these kinds of situations, the audience favours The Undertaker. Bret gives his glasses away, and our guy here is absolutely delighted. You love to see it. And here we go, the Hitman versus the Deadman in the 1996 Royal Rumble main event. Bret shows no fear and he strikes the Deadman in the corner, but the Undertaker grabs Bret by the neck and the champ gets his receipt. Bret gets thrown into the corner and the Undertaker chokes the Hitman before dropping him to the canvas. Bret gets his face raked and Bret takes another hard whip into the corner. The Deadman then squeezes Bret's face with his purple glove, and this hold right here seems to be effective. Taker keeps it applied for quite some time and Bret's shoulders touch the mat. Bret gets a foot on the ropes a few times, but Paul Bearer keeps pushing him away. Eventually Bret just wraps his legs around the bottom rope and the hold gets broke. Taker delivers old school as Bret continues to struggle to really get going. Taker goes back to squeezing the face, and when the two get up, Bret goes back to the corner. The Hitman takes an uppercut as Taker's domination continues. There's another whip to the corner, but Bret finally creates an opening when he gets a boot up in the corner and he tries to take the Phenom off his feet with a second rope clothesline. Taker stays up, so Bret tries a clothesline over the top rope, and again Taker doesn't go down. A plancha from the Hitman does the job. The Phenom takes a few punches too, but Bret tries to jump on Taker from the apron and Bret gets caught. His back gets driven into a ring post, though he does manage to return the favour. A boot to the face then puts Bret back in his place. The Undertaker punishes Bret at the guardrail, but Bret replies by throwing his opponent into the ring steps and the challenger takes all the impact on his leg. This is the opening that Bret needs, and you know what's going to happen next. That's a big old target right there for the excellence of execution, and he's going to spend some time systematically attacking the left leg. Taker struggles inside the ropes as Bret goes to work, even giving a thumbs up as if to say, yeah, I got this. The crowd have remained 50-50 more or less, but you do hear some boos as Bret drops his body weight on Taker's left knee. The Hitman locks in a figure 4 and the Phenom has to reach out to the urn. Paul Bearer wills on the creatures of the night and Taker counters the hold. Bret though makes it to the ropes. As soon as Taker comes back at Bret, the Hitman goes straight back to the left leg. Undertaker gets desperate in the corner as he tries to pummel his way out of the hold, so Bret brings it straight back down to the mat. Bret then tries to remove Taker's mask, but the Undertaker fights Bret off, and when Bret brings it back to the canvas, the audience starts chanting "Rest in peace." The crowd really haven't been into this one, and it feels like they want to cheer, but they haven't really been given a reason to do so. Bret's playing it safe tonight, and it's all about how difficult it is to damage the Undertaker and the resilience of the Undertaker, but this audience want action. They do make noise when Taker drops his leg across Bret's face a few times, and the match goes to the outside again after the Undertaker throws Bret out. Undertaker then wraps a cord around Bret's throat and there's a mixture of cheers and boos from the audience. Bret gets messed up at the timekeeper's table and Taker gets vicious by using a steel chair. The referee's distracted by Paul Bearer, by the way. Still, after all this, Bret just has to go back to the leg and it's almost like Taker didn't do any damage to Bret at all. Yeah, this is nowhere near as good as SummerSlam 1997 or One Night Only. The story's definitely there, but the crowd are really unsure how to react, and you're just waiting on a big explosion of offense from one of the competitors, but it doesn't really come. Bret looks out at the audience as he gets a negative reaction. He wraps Taker's leg around the ring post a few times. We go back down to the mat as Vince McMahon says Undertaker isn't going to submit. Taker fights out, Bret takes a headbutt followed by a leg drop. Bret gets up only to go back down after a clothesline, and Hart has to use the ropes to avoid getting tombstoned. Hart snaps Taker's neck across the top rope and he plants the Phenom with a DDT. This gets a good reaction. Taker sitting up afterwards gets a great reaction too, and it feels like the crowd's into it way more when Taker sits up again after a Russian leg sweep. Bret performs a Bulldog, Taker sits back up. There's the Hitman's backbreaker, Taker tries to sit up but he can't do it. We see Bret's elbow from Bret's rope and Bret says that's it over, it's time for the sharpshooter. Bret tries to apply his finisher but Taker grabs him by the throat and Hart takes a knee to the midsection. We then see Taker's jumping clothesline but it's Bret who gets up first. Bret decides it's time to fight dirty and he removes a turnbuckle pad. He then tries to remove Taker's mask and he gets it off successfully. He's a little taken back when he sees the Undertaker's face, but he still manages to stay in control and Taker's head gets rammed into that exposed corner twice. Bret then goes for a crossbody, but Taker scoops Bret up and we see the tombstone. Taker covers Bret and then Diesel shows up. Diesel pulls the referee out of the ring and so Earl Hebner calls for the bell. Bret Hart's been disqualified. Diesel flips the Undertaker off before leaving the ringside area. The audience were already a little quiet during this match, but the finish has everyone totally deflated. And what else can I say really? It feels like a very unsatisfying title match with a very unsatisfying and disappointing finish. Let's check out a few extra interviews though that were on the home video. Monsoon books a Diesel vs Bret Hart match for the next In Your House event. Shawn says he's completed phase 1 and he takes shots at Hulk Hogan by saying lots of things used to run wild when the dinosaurs were around. The Click and the Heartbreak Kid are on their way to WrestleMania. Shawn said he was going to do it and he did it. Undertaker then approaches Monsoon and he says it'll be a cold day in hell before Diesel wears the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So Monsoon changes the In Your House Bret vs Diesel match into a steel cage encounter. Monsoon wants to make sure there's no interference. Diesel says that all he stated tonight was that Diesel was number 1. Bret's only champion because Diesel allows it. Nobody has to like Diesel, but you gotta love him because he's the best thing going today. Diesel isn't afraid of the dark, he's not afraid of Taker's idle threats. The only thing Diesel's afraid of is the tax man. Jim Cornette says Vader was the real winner of the Royal Rumble, and if you're talking title matches, the man called Vader can't be ignored. From now until the end of time, it's Vader time. For some reason, I always thought this event was better than what it was. Watching it back for this video though made me reconsider things, and it's a pretty weak pay-per-view to be honest. The main event features 2 legends, but this was far from their best encounter. The fans in attendance loved seeing HBK win the Rumble, but the Rumble itself lacked any real highlights, and there was nothing special going on in the undercard at all. I have a soft spot for this show though because I like Mania 12 so much. The journey to that WrestleMania begins at this show, but I will admit that it's not a very good pay-per-view either, and nothing at all stands out. So this one doesn't come recommended unless you're following or studying HBK's journey to the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Honestly, I thought the 95 Royal Rumble pay-per-view was better than this one. Hopefully you enjoyed watching though, and there's a few more pay-per-view videos lined up during this 2-week Reliving the War break. So join me again soon and we'll check out another wrestling event from the early days of the Monday Night War. Thanks for watching guys, and take care.